welcome back to Veggie Vero's Kids Corner. I'm your host, Veronica Green. I'm back today at the beautiful Delray Beach Children's Garden, and I have a super fun story to read you today and a lovely craft. I really think you're going to enjoy the craft. First, the story is called The Digger and the Flower. It's a really sweet book written by Joseph Kuefler about a little digging machine who comes across a beautiful flower in the middle of a city, a concrete jungle that doesn't have a lot of nature. So we'll see what happens with the digger and the flower. And then afterwards, I'm going to show you how to make your very own natural Play-Doh using just 3 ingredients. So this is super easy to do at home, and this is probably ingredients you already have. You're just going to need regular table salt, all-purpose flour, and water. That's all you need. It is super fun and easy, and I love to make this Play-Doh here at the garden with the kids, and then we find little nature items like flower petals and seeds to smush into the Play-Doh. It's so much fun. So you can go ahead and gather those supplies, and I will start the story with you. The Digger and the Flower. Everybody ready? Get cozy. Here we go. It was morning time, and the big trucks were ready to work. "Let's hoist," said the crane. "Let's push," said the dozer. "Let's dig," said the digger. Together, they built tall buildings for working. They built roads for driving and bridges for crossing. They built and built until the loud whistle blew. "I'm beat," said Crane. "Me too," said Dozer. He had found something in the rubble. The flower was tiny, but it was beautiful. Every day, while the other big trucks built, Digger visited the flower. He watered it when its leaves looked dry. He shielded it on windy days. And just before he switched off for the night, Digger sang the flower a beautiful song. "Little flower, we love you. Little flower, pretty and blue." The other big trucks took a break, but the digger did not. The flower grew, but the city grew too. And before long, every space had been taken up. Every space except for one. "We need to put a building here," said Crane. Dozer started up his engine. Before Digger could stop them, Dozer blew a big puff of smoke and cut the flower down. Aww. The other trucks went back to work, but Digger did not. When the smoke cleared, Digger saw something in the rubble. "Little seeds," he said. "You see that? The flower was cut down, but it left behind little seeds." So he scooped up those seeds and drove far, far away. He drove past the far buildings and past the furthest house on the street. Looks like Digger's trying to get those seeds away from the city so he can plant them somewhere safe. He drove to a place that no big truck had ever been. That looks like a beautiful place to plant the seeds. And there Digger stopped. He dug and scooped and tucked the little seeds into the warm earth. Every day, Digger cared for those seeds that started to sprout. He watered them when the leaves looked dry, and he shielded them on windy days. And just before he switched off for the night, he sung them a little bedtime story. "Little flowers, we love you. Little flowers, pretty and blue." And as nature would have it, those little seeds began to spread, and more flowers began to grow. And it looks like little by little, those flowers were trying to make their way back to the city. Look at that. You know, there's a lot of people that live in the city, and maybe those people need to see some nature in their life. See those flowers creeping back over to the city? What a lovely story. So in the end, Digger was able to take the seeds from his beautiful flower. He was so sad at first that the flower had been cut down, but then he realized, well, this is how Mother Nature works. The flower leaves behind seeds so that we can make more flowers, and then those flowers have seeds of their own, and it's just a cycle that goes on and on. It's like Mother Nature's way of recycling. Same thing with fruit. When we pick a fruit from a tree, there's a seed inside, and we can plant a whole new tree that will give us more fruit from that one seed. It's a beautiful cycle. So, are you guys ready to do the craft? I'm excited to show you this one. Like I said before, we're making a natural Play-Doh, only 3 ingredients. If you're just joining us, you can just grab some table salt, some flour, all-purpose flour, and water. That's all you need, and like a bowl to mix it in. All right, so let's get started. Okay guys, so you're gonna start with your salt, and you should have some type of a measuring cup, and you're gonna do half a cup of salt. All right, let's start with that. Half a cup of salt. All right. And you're going to pour that right into your mixing bowl. Then you're going to grab some water. You're going to do half a cup of water. Half a cup salt, half a cup water. And you pour that in. Now, you get your flour. This can just be a regular all-purpose flour. And we're going to do 1 cup of flour. Okay, 1 cup of flour. And now start to mix it. It can take a little bit of time. You know, you just gotta really just sit there for a few minutes and give it a good mix. And you will start to see that it's coming together like a doughy type of a paste almost. And the longer you mix it for, the more it's gonna come together and stop being so sticky and pasty and start being a little bit more like Play-Doh. And if you feel like it's too sticky even after a while of mixing, like if you put your hands in it and it's just like a mess, you can add a little bit more flour. The flour takes away the stickiness. If it gets too dry, add a little bit more water. So you can adjust it and just try to get it just right. You can see I've only been mixing it for a minute and it's already becoming very doughy, and it's a little bit sticky, so I'm gonna keep on mixing and I might add a tiny bit more flour. Now if you're doing this at home with the kiddos, it's probably a good idea to let them help you mix it up, because that's part of the fun. Really mixing it up. Once you can't mix it with a spoon anymore, start using your hands and just start squishing it and kneading it. It's so much fun. It feels so good. And just keep on doing this, and then like I said, if it feels too sticky, add some more flour. Add a little bit more. Okay, mine is reaching a point where it is starting to actually feel like Play-Doh. Now, if you guys wanted to give it color, of course you can use food coloring. I happen to really like the natural look of the undyed Play-Doh, but you can use coloring. You can also make natural food coloring using herbs. You can use turmeric to make an orangey. Like turmeric powder would give it a nice orange color. If you boil some purple cabbage and use that for the water, you can get a nice purple one. Lots of different things you can do. If you start to squish leaves inside of your Play-Doh, the chlorophyll from inside the leaves will give it a green color. Okay, my Play-Doh is pretty perfect, I have to say. It feels great. Now I happen to have some leftover roses from our Valentine's Day activity, so I grabbed one, and I'm going to actually just put some of these rose petals right in here. And actually I've never tried this before with the Play-Doh with rose petals, so I'm gonna actually break them apart, really rip them up with my fingers and see if any of the red dye from the roses, the natural red juice from the roses, will give some color to my Play-Doh. So I'm squishing it up, and I got a little bit of color coming out. Not as much as I had hoped, but those rose petals do look awfully pretty just mixed in with the Play-Doh anyways. This stuff is great. And that recipe that I gave you was half cup of salt, half cup of water, and 1 cup of flour, and I ended up adding a little bit more flour. And that gives you a nice big handful, really 2 handfuls. This is a great size, and you can save this in your refrigerator for probably, I would say, a few weeks at least. Like 3 weeks, close to a month maybe. And you can play with this knowing that you don't have any toxins or questionable ingredients. in your Play-Doh. And if you have very little ones at home who tend to put everything in their mouths, at least you know that it's safe. Not necessarily healthy, but safe. So there you go. And if you go around your garden or outside and just try to find like leaves that smell really delicious, this is mugine. I think I may have showed you guys this one already. This is a plant from the Bahamas, and it has a strong floral scent. It smells so good, and I can just take these leaves off of there and sprinkle them in along with my rose petals, and it just looks so beautiful. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you liked the story. This was a lot of fun. This is a great activity to do at home with the kids, and if you got a play date happening, this is super fun and easy. So, all right, everybody, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your weekend, and I will see you next time on Veggie, Vero's Kids Corner. Bye, everyone.